Good morning, everyone. It's Allison Henderson here, and it's Tuesday, which means it's LinkedIn Live Day. And since it's summer, you never know quite when I'm going to appear based on my schedule. As soon as everybody goes back to school, things will get back to normal. But today, we're even in a different location because I thought I would try to inspire you to include a physical warm-up in your day, particularly on those occasions where you're going to be public speaking or you're going to be giving a presentation, there's a big meeting with a potential client, or perhaps you're going in for your yearly review. Whatever it is that might be a stressful situation or any time when you need to be an all-star communicator. This means that you're going to need to call on all parts of your communication, not just the words that you say, but also how you're saying them. And one thing that I want to get across to you today is that our communication in general, your body language will support the words that you say. If you are doing something that you've planned, or a presentation, a speech, anything that was created that you wrote out first, your body language may not match as well because it isn't spontaneous and in the moment. If a presentation or a sales script or something was created by someone else, this is even one step removed, and that is even more difficult to communicate non-verbally, body language-wise, in a way that supports the language because somebody else wrote it. If it is something where you're super nervous before going into it, that also creates another barrier to that authentic communication where your nonverbals match your verbal content pretty well. And it just is a little bit easier to communicate. That's why you feel like, why can I communicate so easily with my family members or my team? But every time I go in front of the board, I stumble, I don't feel like I present very well. There's a lot of reason for that. You're nervous. You have thought really hard usually about what it is that you're going to say. And in general, we are better non-verbally when we're a little bit more spontaneous. And how you can combat this issue of having things planned, because we don't want you to go into these big meetings and just wing it. That is not what I'm saying. I'm saying that you can prepare your body to better support your words if you warm up. So this is what I want everybody to think about and to start doing. Yes, I'm headed to the gym after this, can you tell? But this is a warm-up that I do before I have those big meetings, or if I'm doing an interview for a podcast or for a news outlet or something. I always do this physical warm-up, and I thought I would share it with you. Where it comes from, or its basis, is in Laban, which is one of my certifications. I am a certified movement analyst, and Rudolf Laban had scales. He literally had movement scales, which are similar to things that you might do in Tai Chi or some of the Eastern arts. Would be similar to a series of yoga poses, perhaps, that you might move through in a series. But it's a lot simpler than many of those things. This particular one is what they call the one-dimensional scale. And I don't believe I've ever demoed it like this, at least for this LinkedIn Live audience. And this is how it goes. You choose to do it on one side and then the other side, and then often I combine the two and use both of my sides of the body at the same time. And it's very important that you breathe through all of this. So we're going to start with a couple of really good breaths and then let it out. And as you breathe, I want you to think about your feet being really directly under your hips, directly under your shoulders, and connecting to the ground with your toes. It's really great to do this with your shoes off or in really soft-soled moccasins or slippers or things like that, because connecting to the ground, connecting to the earth is really important. So one more nice deep breath. And then what you're going to do is you're simply going to let one of the arms float up. And if you want to take it even further, you can stretch it up. And then you let it float down the same pathway that it went up. And then you let it sink into the floor a little bit. Depending on how flexible you are, you can go down all the way. And take your heels off the floor, or go down just as far as you can before your heels go off the floor. What I don't want and what isn't best for you is to get all wobbly when you get down here. So as long as you can go down and up smoothly, that's great. Then you're going to take that same arm and you're going to cross the body. And I want you to really stretch these shoulders and concave your chest. You see the words anticipation across my chest. We really want those to scrunch up as you're going across, and then you're going to open it to the other side and you're going to stretch out that way. Remember when I always talk about this upper body, and you need to get this more flexible, particularly for Zoom conversations. So you've gone on the horizontal, and now you're going to reach behind you, and it's fine to take a little step back, because sometimes it can be wobbly to reach back behind you. We don't use backspace very much, but you can connect to that space behind you. Remember the whole idea of I've got your back? Well, you have your own back, and there's a lot of space back there to support you. And then you come forwards and press forward. And then you do it on the other side. So it's reaching up. Nice inhale. Exhale down. Inhale. Exhale. Cross across the body. Way over here. Inhale. Open. You can exhale or you can inhale. I don't really care which way your breaths go. Some people get fussy about that. I think as long as you're keeping a breath going and your body going, that's good. And then we can use both arms. And each time you do it, I really stretch here. Open and reach into that back space. Feel all that good. Look at all this room back here that you could touch, but we never use. And forward. Now, what has that done? That has followed the planes of the body. And if you've taken any of my courses, you know that I deal with where your body is going in space. And this is enlivening that. This is a lot, is waking up your body to the possibility of all of those places. Why is that important? Because you want your body to have the ability to access all of these places when it's communicating. You don't want to just communicate in one way or in one direction, particularly when you are doing things like public speaking, speaking to groups, and things like that. And that's usually where these prepared things come from. You want to have full range of motion. Now, there's more to it. There is adding mantras, if you like. You can add some affirmations as you go through this. Often I do, depending on what I'm going into. If I'm going to be leading a training, I give myself affirmations on providing the resources for the people that are going to be attending my training today, such as I'll have later. So I will do one of these before the training session that I'm leading today. If it's something where you're meeting one-on-one and it might be a little nerve-wracking, you can even affirm that you have the right words in this situation. And those kinds of things. Speaking while you do it is great because that helps to warm up your voice as well. because you're just verbalizing. And as you verbalize, I would encourage you to use your face, use your lips, teeth, tip of the tongue, those articulators, which help you enunciate and speak more clearly. The clearer you speak, the more intelligent people perceive you as. And that is really important, obviously, as well. If you use Reiki or other meditation types of work in your life, this is another great place to do that. You can think about all of the chakras. You can even trace the center line and think about the chakras as you do the vertical here when you're going up and down. So there's a lot of ways this can be used. You can even do it sitting in the chair, do it small with just parts of your body. You don't necessarily have to stretch or just do your arms. If you don't have a lot of space, you can even do it mentally. The body and the mind are connected. So even if you just think up, down, cross the body, open the body, connect to that back space, reach into the front space. That can do kind of in a pinch. That's another way to do this grounding exercise. So there you have it. That is the warm-up. I want to keep this short because I want this to be a resource. Pin it or save it somewhere that you can use this. And then I would be very grateful if you tell me how it works in your life, how getting yourself centered and grounded is making you a better communicator, because you will notice maybe you're doing things, wow, I don't normally reach there, or I'm not usually comfortable sitting back in my chair. But remember, that back space has got your back. Maybe you can sit back in your chair just a little bit and be a little more relaxed if it is a difficult conversation. That's it for today. We'll see you again next week, and who knows what I'll be talking about then. Over the summer, it's kind of been fun to be sort of think about and be inspired by what is happening either in my life or what I feel like I should be sharing with you each day. Have a great one, everybody.